was trying my best to keep this fucking marriage working, and I'm not doing it anymore because I'm the only one trying. And things aren't going to work out unless two people in the relationship are actually trying. And it was just me. So, yeah, I broke it off. I was done putting up with your shit. And when I finally started dating, you had a problem with it. Okay. So much to the point where you threatened to take my kids from me. He didn't actually take my kids from me. He just wanted to scare me. So what he did was he took my kids to TJ with my grandma and my mom. And I guess he didn't involve his family at all. Like, they had no clue. So when I blew up his mom's phone and I let her know, if he doesn't bring me back my kids, I'm calling the cops. That's when she started blowing up his phone saying, you need to give her back your kids, this and that, you know, like, you don't want to do something stupid and end up in jail, you know, basically that. His parents had no idea that we weren't together. My parents didn't really know much about it, but I believe I did tell either my grandma or my mom, like, I wasn't doing this anymore with him. Like, I'm like literally numb to my core in this relationship. Like, I don't love him anymore, you know? Like, sure, I still cared for him. I did not love him anymore. But at that moment, when he fucking took my kids from me and gave me that big-ass scare, I knew exactly the type of person he was at that moment. So I knew what I had to do. And although I was pissed off, and I still told him, like, no, that's not okay, this and that, you know, like, out of everything you've done to me, and you do this the second I start moving on with my life. You were the one trying to convince me to start moving on with my life in the first place, and now that I am, it's a fucking issue. Same day, he ended up coming back, and I messaged my grandma or my mom, and she was like, yeah, he just left, but he didn't take the kids. And I was like, why the fuck wouldn't he take the kids? Why wouldn't he bring my kids to me? Like, are you kidding me? But apparently it's because he wanted to talk and this and that. And I'm like, bro, there's not much to fucking talk about. Like, you did this because I went on a date after all the times you went on dates and stuff, and you fucking told me about it. Like, you literally expressed how, like, the sex was and stuff like that to my face. Like, okay, but I'm the one that's in the wrong. Okay. So he wanted to talk about it. I don't know why he didn't go to the front door, you know, and go into the bedroom, but he ended up going to the back door because in that apartment, a lot of people on my Instagram know that I have a back door in my bedroom. So yeah, that started happening, and whatchamacallit, he went through the back door and he knocked, and I was like, why the fuck wouldn't he go through the front door? So I was like, what are you doing? Why are you in the fucking back door, you know, like, why are you doing all this extra shit? Like, stop. Everyone knows what you did now. Like, what is all this for? And he's like, he came with a bottle of my favorite wine, which is Stella Rosa, the berry one, or probably the pink cap one, but the berry one is the blue cap. That was my favorite one. But he bought me that one and my bag of chile limon lays. Those chips are so fucking bomb, with some tapatio and some lemon, a little bit of salt. Okay, so good. But anyways, no, he gave me those two things, and he was like, here. And I was like, what? You're gonna give me a bottle of wine and a bag of chips for peace after what you just did? After you've been doing to me? You think that's gonna make it up? Like, really? And that's what he did, you know, throughout our relationship. I didn't really realize it, but every time he felt guilty about something, he would gift me something that day, whether it was flowers, wines, like, whatever, you know, like chocolates, chips. He would just give me something randomly, and I'm like, ah, pobre pendeja. That was basically when he gifted me stuff because he did something he shouldn't have, and he felt guilty. So his way of making that up is by buying me a bag of fucking chips. So yeah. So he gives me this stuff, right? And I, like, tell him all that stuff, and I was like, are you kidding me? Like, you're gonna, like, fucking do all this shit and expect me to forgive you by getting me a bottle of wine and some chips? Like, that's not how it fucking works, right? Tell me why this dude, like, I'm gonna fucking demonstrate this shit. Tell me why this dude, my feet are right here, right? He deadass goes, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. And deadass, like, really? I was literally standing there. Okay, so he's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. Okay, and I'm deadass like this. That's right, and I was like, get off of me, you know, like, get off. Like, you need to get off of me because this is embarrassing, and no one's around, but it's embarrassing for me because, bro, deadass putting snot all over my feet. Can you get off? You need to go get my kids. You need to stop, because I'm not going to forgive you after everything you've put me through. Thanks for the bottle of wine and the chips. You really think I'm going to forgive you that easily? You know, like, get off. Get off. Seriously. He would not get off. Oh, I got to the point where I'm like... And he kept talking, telling me I'm sorry, this and that, and I'm just like... Oh, I could definitely use that wine bag of chips right now. That's how that went. He did all of that, trying to say he's sorry and stuff like that. And I was just like... I was trying to, like, really think it through, you know? And I was like, okay, I now know the type of person he is. He's threatening to take my kids away if I have any sort of, like, relationship when I'm not with him, you know? So I'm like, okay, I can't basically just be free, you know? And I was like, alright, I know how it works now. If you're gonna double down like that, I'm gonna double down too. But I didn't sign a prenup or anything, so if he were to leave me, he'd basically be able to take everything and leave me with nothing, right? Because nothing is under my name. I don't even have a credit score, because as much as he kept saying, like, oh, I'll help you with that or whatever, he never did. And, you know, like, I don't really know how to, like, start raising my credit and stuff like that, you know? So I was like, alright, I'm gonna have to do something. But as much as I tried figuring it out, I just, like, I didn't really know how to start or where to start, you know? I tried applying for credit cards. I don't qualify because I have no credit. Okay. Like, so really, like, the only thing I can do is just stick this out and hope that I find some sort of way to make life work without him in it, you know? Without him controlling me. Because, like I said, his name was under everything. His name was under, like, my phone and everything too. So what he did there and on, he started controlling me by turning off my phone. So every time I was, like, posting or something like that, because at times I would post and I'm like trying to just get advice from people, because I just don't know how to, like, deal with this on my own, you know? And I don't know if, like, other people have gone through it and stuff like that, but it was my first experience, you know, and I just didn't know what to do. So, you know, I asked for advice on, like, Snapchat and Instagram. As soon as he saw my story or something, he would shut off my phone, like, completely shut it off. He was allowed to just turn off my phone, so I had no access. Like, the screen wouldn't even pop up. Like, I would press it and it says, like, locked, you know? And he would be able to do that, control my phone through his phone. And I finally found out how he was doing that, so I've disconnected his way of getting through my phone, through mine, you know, or through my laptop. January 28th goes by, and he brings drugs into the house. And I don't know if you guys remember me saying it before, but I had problems with drugs when I was younger. Ever since I was 14, I've had a problem with that for up until I was 18 and found out I was pregnant. February 5th is my birthday. I found out on February 26th that I was pregnant. So ever since then, I stopped doing drugs, and I was sober for a good, like, almost 2 years, or it is 2 years actually. Yeah, I was sober for a good 2 years, and a little bit more than 2 years. But Jay brought it into the house, and as much as I tried to, like, fight it and say no, I eventually gave in. And then the next morning I instantly regretted it, but I knew that I wasn't strong enough because I was having the withdrawal. My body was too weak to that. So that's, like, one way of getting me to, like, continue doing it, is if I'm feeling that, like, vulnerable weakness in my body and my bones. It just, it made me think a certain way, and the way I was thinking at that time was, I do regret it, but I mean, I am always tired. This could help my tiredness and stuff, you know? But obviously, right after, I realized I can't do this by myself. I need to get rid of the rest, because there was still some left, and I was like, I need to get rid of the rest. Like, I can't do it by myself. So I asked my sister-in-law, can you please throw this out for me? She did, and I felt so shitty, so guilty. And before that day that he brought the drugs in, I don't know why, but I needed to vent to someone, and he was with me through like a lot of that journey. So I vented to him. I know. I vented to him about it, and I told him, like, I'm very vulnerable right now. I like need to go to an NA meeting or somehow. Like, I know there was some online, but there wasn't any like live ones at the moment or anything, you know, because COVID time was still like happening low-key. But yeah, I was just like, I don't know what to do right now and stuff like that. I didn't know, and I just needed someone to talk to. Talk to him, told him I was feeling vulnerable. A few days later, he comes in with the drugs, and I didn't think about it at the time, but he was definitely preying on a bitch's downfall. And it was so funny, because that same day I messaged him. I was like, don't ever bring that shit back in the house. You know how bad I get when I get stuck in that cycle again, you know? And it definitely takes me a while to like adjust my life again, which is why it was always so hard for me to just completely stop, because I was always so depressed as like a kid and stuff, you know? So the only thing that would make me happy is that, because it made me feel, don't even need to talk about it. But I tell him, don't ever bring it back. I don't ever want to see it again. I don't ever want you bringing it into this house again. I don't ever want you showing it to me ever again. Don't ever do that again, basically, you know? He messages my sister-in-law. He's like, he asked her, is there some way that I can blame it on her? And she was like, how would you blame it on her when you went out of your way to find someone, contact that person, pay for it, pick it up, and then bring it back into the house, knowing that Alyssa has a history with that? How are you gonna try to blame that on her? Like, she was even shocked herself, and I was like, oh my god. Like, I realized, like, this was his plan all along. His plan was to make himself look like a victim, make it seem like, oh, I made him do drugs or something. For that moment on, I thought he stopped, but later on, I found out he didn't. So my birthday came along, like I said, February 5th, and I was super drunk. I went out with my girl, kind of, you know, I went to her place to like go just chill and drink, and me and her were hanging out at first, but then her boyfriend joined. We played like, I think we played Uno? Not really sure. But yeah, they made me drink a lot of beer. I was losing a lot. I fucking sucked at fucking Uno. Like, are you kidding me? But okay, I was low-key really drunk, and before Jay actually dropped me off. He was nice enough to drop me off. I was like, thank you and stuff, but he like held me back for a second, and he was like, I have some Coke. Am I even allowed to say that? I don't know. He's like, do you want some? And I'm like, no. And I was like, I know I'm not allowed to say that either. I said a name. Okay, I know my sister-in-law is taking care of the kids, but it's just in case you suck at being a parent, you know? So I need you to actually get your shit together. You better not be doing these drugs around my kids. If you're gonna do it outside the house, and don't come back until it's gone, you know? And I thought, you know, he was gonna listen to me, because he was like, okay. So yeah, I ended up going, you know, with my friend, because, you know, I've never done that before. I've never been out on my birthday. Most of the time my birthday was never really celebrated. So yeah, that's kind of how things went with Jay. Like Mother's Day and my birthday, any day that was important to me was always kind of trashed, because I don't know, he just always had an issue or something like that, and I realized it was some sort of narcissistic way of controlling me and making my day feel like shit, you know? So I ended up never really celebrating my birthday for like those couple of years that I was with him. Same with Mother's Day. He ended up picking me back up, which is why I was like, okay, he's sober, you know, he's not driving crazy or anything, but at the same time I was really drunk. I just remember that me and Jay were doing the deed, and it ended up starting to hurt me, so I told him stop. He didn't stop. He realized what he had done afterwards. I don't want to go into detail about it, because this is the thing that I went into detail with, and that's what I was questioning my boyfriend with, you know, like, should I say it or not, because it is a lot of information that is very vulnerable to me, and I don't want being revolved around what happened to me, you know? It's just a little piece of my life that happened, and it did traumatize me for the longest time. It still traumatizes me this day, but I'm not sulking in it anymore, you know? Because I feel like the more I sulk in it, the more depressed I get, the more I get my head into a very, very bad place that I don't want to be in anymore. So the next day, he knew what had happened. I knew what had happened. I was drunk. I was very hungover the next day, but I was so traumatized that I actually remembered. And when I drink that much, especially with beer for some reason, I always black out. And I just don't remember much, but I did remember that. And I remember how it happened, how it made me feel and everything. And he knew exactly how it happened because he realized I was crying. But after he finished. So, yeah. I stupidly still let him stay around only because, for my kids, I never realized, like, I don't know, to me, I just didn't want my kids blaming me for not being involved in their dad's life, you know, and I didn't want them blaming me in the future, like, you're the reason why I don't have a relationship with my dad type stuff, you know. So I never wanted them to, like, hate me for not being around him or something. So I never told anyone. Eventually, throughout the years after getting away from him, I did start talking about it. I did start telling people, you know, like, he's just not a good guy, and he did a lot of damage to me. And yeah, so I let it go. Days go by or whatever. He actually, first, I forgot why, but I was trying to get back to, like, how things were, not like when we were dating, you know, but like civil and friendly, you know. I don't know why, but my mind process was like, maybe, you know, maybe he was just, but I ended up, like, messing with him or something. I forgot what he would tell me. Oh, that I needed to lose weight or something like that. So I started telling him, because he was fat as hell too with all that beer in his belly. So I would tell him, like, you need to lose weight, this and that. And I went to the bedroom to get my baby's burp cloth. He was kind of just sitting on the bed looking all mopey and stuff, you know. And I started messing with him to, like, lighten the mood or whatever. But really it's just because, you know, he looked fat. And I'm like, boy, the amount of times you've called me fat and stuff like that. Literally the day prior he had called me fat. And he was like, no one's gonna want you, this and that, you know. So I went out of my way to, like, be like, to kind of lighten the mood. And I was like, boy, you need to lose some weight, you need to go for a run or something, you need to stop drinking all that damn beer, like, look at you, like, you're not healthy at all, and you're trying to make fun of me for having 2 kids and having, like, stretch marks and stuff and a fupa, you know. And it kind of annoyed him to the point where he kind of just, like, threw me on the bed and started choking me with his forearm. Is that what it's called? His forearm. So he kind of, like, pressed his big ass arm against my throat like that, and it was to the point where I literally almost blacked out. And that's when I I straight up, like, I socked him so bad in the face, bro. Socked him so bad. Oh my god. It literally, like, I kept trying to get him off of me, you know. And honestly, him treating me the way he did, him talking to me like that, I didn't think that it would bug him that much, you know, but it did. I guess he was having an insecure moment, maybe his little girlfriend or something. I'm not really sure. I doubt that he had a girlfriend because, I mean, every girl he tried to message and while he was dating me was clearly always leaving him on red. Like, honey, you're not that cute. You need to stop trying. Like, I gave you a chance. Well, number 1, out of pity. Number 2, because you were very nice to me. That's out of the fucking question. So it's like, you don't have much left, you know? So, yeah, maybe he was just feeling down about himself or something, and it, like, kind of switched his mode. But he started choking me, and I have proof of that. I have pictures of how red my neck was, like, all around. But yeah, I straight up, like, I socked him, and his nose started bleeding, so that's what got him to actually stop choking me. I ran out of the room with the freaking burp cloth, because somehow I still had the burp cloth in my hand, and I like went to go burp my child. I honestly, once again, acted like nothing ever happened. No, I shouldn't have, but like I said, I just really didn't want my kids making me feel like I was the bad guy, or making me feel guilty for like running away or something, you know. I just didn't want them telling me in the future like, it's your fault I don't have a relationship with him and stuff, you know. So I tried my best to like continue a civil relationship after what happened. A few days go by, probably like 2 weeks. He tries to SA me again. It lasts like 4 hours of me fighting him off. He was able to like undress me from like the bottom down, because I was wearing SpongeBob sweats that day, and I swear took me a long time to be able to wear those sweats again. But yeah, I was wearing a white tank top that day, pink bra, because I was like, ooh, cute, and SpongeBob sweatpants. I still have those SpongeBob sweatpants. I didn't want to get rid of them because it was my first time wearing them, and I loved them so much ever since I found them. And yeah, it just took me a while for me to be able to wear them again, but I ended up wearing them again, and like I said, I just don't want to revolve my life around what happened. So that's what I did. I didn't revolve my life around that situation, and I started moving on. But yeah, a lot happened. Like I said, it lasted 4 hours of him trying to. And he got very close to, and I know for a fact he would have if he wasn't soft. Let me explain. I had no idea, but this dude was on drugs, and that's why he was soft. So that's why he couldn't SA me. Technically, it's still SA, but yeah. Whatchamacallit? He didn't insert me. So yeah, that happened, and he just started freaking out, and he asked my my relative, to take out his tools from his truck because he was dipping, he was leaving the country and this and that. And I just started seeing him just flip out like that and stuff like that, you know. And I was like no one knew why he was acting like that, because everyone was doing their own thing. They were in their own room and stuff like that. But me and him knew what happened that whole time that we weren't there, you know. And I wasn't trying to scream or anything because my kids were on the other side of the door. I did not want to traumatize them more than they already were. So I didn't scream or anything like that. I didn't ask for help, because it's embarrassing. It was embarrassing for me. So I didn't say anything. And whatchamacallit, so yeah, he's just started freaking out, going around and like starting to like tell my relative to take out the tools from the truck. He's basically said like, you can sell them, whatever, you know. He gave me his like info to like unemployment or something like that, and he was just acting up, and I didn't really say anything. I was just kind of letting him do whatever, and my relative was low-key crying, and I was like don't cry, you know, like fuck him, like let him leave. And obviously it's because me and him knew exactly what had happened in that moment, so that's why I was like, let him leave, bye. And so tell me why Jay says he has the audacity to fucking tell me or ask me, can I just get one last kiss? Are you fucking serious? Like, you are lucky I did not lose my shit at that moment, you know? But I was like, no. Fucking dumb. And I walked away. I went back in the house and I was just like, I don't know, like all this shit he put me through, it was a lot for me. And I was sober, you know, like I was sober that day, and it just took a very bad toll on my life. For like, he ended up coming back or whatever, and obviously he was sleeping in like the kids' room, and the kids were now sleeping in the big bedroom with me. So yeah, he had his own bedroom in the other head of the house, and I had the big bedroom, had my kids with me. I was basically, it was nothing out of the ordinary anymore, you know, like I took care of my kids 24/7, so it was like, it wasn't more exhausting to me or anything like that. So I can't believe I let him back in the house. I know for a fact a lot of you guys are like, I can't believe you let him back in the house too. I know. But my mind process was like, as long as we have a civil relationship after everything that happens, I think it's just best I still try to keep that intact, you know? And I really shouldn't have, I know. Shouldn't have let him stay in that house any longer, but I did. And that was one of my biggest mistakes. But, yeah. So moving forward, we kind of had like somewhat civil relationship or whatever, you know? Out of nowhere, that relative, he was living with us too. So apart from my brother and his girlfriend, I was living with my other relative as well. And so one day, Jay out of nowhere like sends him a message, and he's like, pack your shit, this and that, you're leaving, this and that, you know. And my relative lets me know, like, he's kicking me out. And I'm like, why is he kicking you out? And he was like, because I haven't cleaned my room or whatever, you know. Jay comes back from work, and he's already gonna take my, like, we already had plans because my grandma was there. We already had plans to take my grandma to TJ. He made my grandma take my dog because he just couldn't take care of her. That was his only job. His only job was to make sure he took her out in the morning to use the bathroom while, you know, I got a little bit more rest. But he couldn't do that. It was too hard for him. I asked him, okay, if she shits here, you're picking it up, you're changing her diaper pads, and yeah, that's it. That's his job, you know. He couldn't do that. It was too hard for him. So he ended up giving my dog to my grandma. That same day, he took her and my dog to TJ, to her place, and whatchamacallit, that's when my relative tells me something happened between us, and it's like, oh, it's not what you think, and this and that. So my mind process from how my relative was acting, okay, Jay definitely essayed him, told him, don't you dare come back into this house, you're no longer welcome in here. And okay, so I definitely had, you know, some duties as a mom. I definitely couldn't continue talking about this without being at least a little drunk, because before I continue, let me just give you a snippet of how I was doing. I was trying to find things that would change my mind process. Started doing a lot more things that I thought would make me happy. I started writing, but the only thing I could write about was that incident, and I just there wasn't much distracting me until I went on a dating app, and I was like, we can, you know, be friends, we can date, we can, wherever it turns to, that's what it will turn to, you know. That's what I was doing, you know, and that's where I actually met Joseph, and he was a really good distraction. I kick him out. I tell him, you're not allowed to step foot here ever again. Don't even bother fucking like doing any sort of shit like that. You're disgusting. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna invite Joseph over. Because, you know, he knows all the tea, you know, at this time, he knows all the tea, he knows everything that's going on, you know. He was like my home skillet biscuit, you know. So yeah, I invite him over, and he's like, are you sure, and this and that, and I was like, yeah, I kicked him out. Like, after what he did, kicked him out. I was like, I took that step to just completely cut him off, you know? But obviously I couldn't cut him off completely because I still wanted him to have a relationship with my kids. I know what you guys are gonna say. Bitch, you're so stupid, this and that. You know, a lot of other things could have happened, you know. I know. But my mind process was, you know, once again, if I keep him away from my kids, I would be at fault. Like, these kids, he will be able to say, well, your mom took you away, I had no idea where you were, something, you know? So he would have that right to say that. And the kids would have a right to say, you kept him from us, or you kept us from him, you know? And that's what I didn't want. So I tried to make it not that for as long as I could. That one night that he spent sleeping at a parking lot at a park or something like that, he was like, oh, I don't want to get arrested because, you know, there's like a patrol driving around and stuff like that. And I was like, fine, you can stay in the garage. And I still low-key went into the garage sometimes when he wasn't there to do laundry. Anyways, he basically made his way back into the house, but he's only allowed in the garage, so no showers. Like, you better figure that shit out, hunty. But yeah, he basically had to fend for himself. No food, like no showers, no water. Like, you can go buy that out there, honey. So yeah, he completely cut me off with like the debit cards and stuff like that. So regardless, I didn't really have much help there, you know, but I believe it was my brother's girlfriend that actually like helped me out. Like, they helped me get a freaking deliveries for like diapers and wipes and stuff like that. And I still had money saved up in cash because once Jay took my kids on New Year's, I started realizing, oh my god, this dude is gonna leave me with nothing. And I was right. So my relative wanted to take him to court and sue him, basically make him go to jail for graping him. Okay, grape, okay, graping him. And whatchamacallit, he was able to, but there was evidence that showed that it was consensual, so he wasn't able to send him to jail for that, but he was able to send him to jail for something else. Eventually I realized, like, okay, so it was actually consensual. Probably not the first time, maybe, you know, but you definitely went in for second, thirds, and like whoever knows how much more, you know. But when I wanted more information, because after a year of like, I needed closure somehow, you know, and the only closure I would be able to get was from my relative. So when I asked my relative, like, when did it start, you know, like, how did it start, he basically informed me, like, he would, like, it started with, like, joking, you know, like, Jay would take the initiative and be like, so you're, like, bisexual and stuff, right? And so eventually it turned into nasty-ass messages. And he said that they started hooking up, basically, or something like that, when he started doing drugs. And if you don't remember, okay, that was in January 28th. I kicked him out around like late March. So that was low-key going on for a while. And I was like, ew. Ew, ew, ew. So not only did when he essayed me twice, basically, he was also doing nasty stuff behind my back in the garage with my relative. Now imagine how long that would take you to like process that, you know? Like it took me a good like more than a year to really like process that. Like, my relative, you're related to me. And not only that, but I vented to you over certain things that I was going through with Jay until you started to like bud your way into things, you know, that revolved around our relationship, and you kept having his back. So I was like, you know, like what would go through your head if you were going through something like that and your relative was involved? I did not know how to like explain it exactly, but I was so mind fucked that I was not able to process it. I kind of just take it out of my brain as much as I can, go about my day, and that's it. But obviously here and there shots would come back into my own head. I was like, wait, so that happened when this happened and stuff like that, you know? And the audacity in both of them, they decided to go in the garage and hook up when my grandma was in the house, sleeping in the other room, the main room, with my kids, my babies. So these fucking dudes, deadass, had the audacity to both go to the garage while my grandma was sleeping on the couch in the living room. You have to pass that to get there. And going to hook up. My grandma was like, man, why are they taking so long? Like, what are they even doing? It's late, right? She took her ass to the garage, knocked on the door, and said, why are the lights off? Baby, it never even crossed her mind what could be happening. But that was happening. It wouldn't have ever crossed my mind either. Like, it was weird because, you see, the way Jay works is that he'll like be good to you and stuff like that, and then one day he'll treat you like shit just to belittle you. And that's what he was doing to my relative, but he didn't, I don't know, I just didn't put two and two together, because I was like, well, maybe he just feels like he's like the boss or whatever, you know, because they work together. It never crossed my mind that my relative would be able to do something like that, and that Jay was like gonna go out of his way to do that with one of my family members. So I was like, you know, I was shocked. A bitch was shocked. When my grandma realized that, she was like, oh my god. She was like, I thought they were like, I don't know, smoking or something, you know? And my grandma's not fond of that either, but she was like, she did go grab my brother to like get him out, and she was like, it didn't smell like smoke or anything. So it's like, I don't know what they were doing, but that never crossed her mind. Like, it wouldn't have ever crossed my mind too, ma. It wouldn't have ever crossed my mind too. Okay. Aftermath. I stopped talking to my relative. I would have forgiven him because, you know, I'm just that kind of person. But I would have forgiven him if he would have admitted to being wrong for doing that in the first place. Like, I understand about certain circumstances. I understand, like, he was the one that, like, went about it first. But you still went out of your way to message him sometimes and stuff like that, you know? And it was just, like, clearly towards the end, both of you realized that it was wrong and that you should have never done it. But it's a little too late. It's a little too late, little too late. Wait, is that even the song? But my relative never really took the initiative to really apologize, you know, because it's really fucked up to me. But I was more thinking of my son, because, you know, eventually I'm not gonna lie to him. I'm gonna tell him the truth about everything. So Jay was able to get arrested, and I believe they did arrest him once. He posted bail with like another, I don't know how he posted bail, but his bail was like $100 grand or something like that. And he posted bail, so he ended up skimping out on the courts and stuff. So you guys see him around. I'm pretty sure he's in TJ, that stupid bitch. So if you ever go to TJ, you know, just know that that nasty fucking sick in the head monster is over there, okay? And he ended up, I guess, finding out that my boyfriend was coming over or something like that, which is weird because I never really hid it from him, you know? Like, the blinds were always open, like, he was always able to notice. I had no idea that he didn't know. But my boyfriend was staying there for at least 2 weeks, so he didn't know for 2 weeks. I'm like, bitch, okay. Are you that delulu? Like, you can't realize that, you know, you can't turn your head or something, you know? I never kept it a secret. The only thing I didn't want was for my boyfriend to park in our lot, as long as Jay's car was there, because I didn't want him doing anything to his car. And also the landlord was there at the time too, so I didn't want him doing something weird. He's a weirdo too. He sent me to court after promising me like, oh yeah, I'll help you out, I'll give you 3 months to find a job and stuff like that, but if you can't afford the rent, then you're gonna have to go, you know. And I was like so grateful that he gave me 3 months, you know, because I expressed everything that Jay has done to me, and I was like, I kicked him out, I'm like trying to look for a job and stuff like that. He was like, I'll give you 3 months. This dude ended up sending me to court, and I was like, are you serious? Like, you finished telling me that you're gonna let me have time, you're gonna give me time to, like, you know, get my shit together. And I think I still have that recording, because I was supposed to turn that into the court, I believe, but I wasn't able to because it was too late. But I did have that as an evidence thing, him saying that he was gonna give me time. But yeah, that freaking court lasted like 4 months, and at the end of the day, the judge said, no, you can't kick her out, this and that. Regardless, guys, the tea on that, I'm gonna make that another story time. But okay, just so you know, I was going through all of this at once, you know. And apart from that, Jay's dad and his family were like picking up his shit, and like they locked me out of the garage because I guess his cars are in there. So I don't know, he was like, oh, they're gonna do something, or really they were just being petty, because I know exactly the type of person they are, or the type of people they are, because his dad threatened to take my kids away as well. And he was like, I know judges, I know lawyers, and TJ's right there. So so I was like, bro, these people are like something else. Like, they have no idea, or probably they do, because when he threatened me, he was like, if you go to the cops, you know, this is what will happen. Look at me now, honey. You look like you're struggling. You look like you're struggling. Oh, your poor son. Your poor son. Pobrecitos. Pobrecitos. Oh my gosh. They're ridiculous. Oh my god, they caused me so much trauma. It's like, bro, I can make millions over how much, like, trauma they put me through. One day came by, right? He realized that I had a guy over, I guess. But he took the initiative. He was living in the garage, okay? And it was during the week. I don't know why he wasn't at work. Probably, like, getting over a withdrawal or something. I'm not really sure. But, yeah, he was there. And he broke into the house. I had like just said bye to my boyfriend, you know. He waited for my boyfriend to drive away. My boyfriend's car is loud as hell. Like, how do you not notice this every morning? How do you not notice me like slamming the door every morning, you know? Because I didn't give a fuck. I closed the door like nothing, you know. But yeah, he realized that my boyfriend was over, and at the time it has been like a while, and we were kind of dating. We were dating, but we weren't official yet, you know. Towards the end of that same month, that's when we were like, so like, are we gonna make it official, or like, you know? But he was like, I thought we were. And I'm over here like, no honey, no honey, we weren't. So if I could be talking to a dude right now, okay, do you want that, or do you want it to be official, you know? I'm just playing. But basically, but that day he broke into the house, okay, literally kicked the door open, broke that freaking thing. It was an old school door, so it was a heavy door, you know. And so he broke that in, and I ran to my bedroom. My freaking brother and his girlfriend were in the room kind of like across, you know, because my room is the only room on one side, and then it's like 2 other bedrooms going past the living room. They were tired though. They just had a newborn, so I'm like, I don't even blame them for not even waking up, because it was hard for me, you know. They didn't hear a damn thing until like I like knocked on their door, and I was like, I need to call the police, because like this is too much, you know, this is too much. I locked myself in the bedroom, my bedroom, you know, and he kept trying to kick that door, and I'm like, stop, like the kids are in here, you're scaring them, stop. My poor kids were still sleeping. Ethan ended up going from one corner, which was his little toddler bed, onto my bed on the other corner next to the crib area. And I have a video of this. I have a video of like the ending of this, and I posted it, and then he stole my phone and my laptop and he took them from me, but I was still able to post that. But yeah, he like threw all my shit out. He broke a lot of like dresser drawers and stuff, because he like just grabbed it and threw it all out in the back. He threw my bed out and stuff like that. He like literally just destroyed a lot of my shit, and I have a video of that too, so I'll insert it. Completely destroyed everything. Okay, he broke a glass, but my kids are here, so I cleaned it. So I don't even know, like, I don't know what went through his head. Like, are you serious? And the only thing he said was, in our bed? Baby, in our house? With my relative? The fuck? Like, you have no fucking right, bro. You have no right. What are you talking about? And keep in mind, we had our conversations already before, you know? And I'm like, bro, we're no longer together. You're not even allowed inside this house, you know? Like, what made you think that I would ever give you another fucking chance? Are you kidding me? Like, are you kidding me? Now that's Delulu, okay? So I recorded that and I put it on Snapchat because I was like, Snapchat keeps everything, okay? Snapchat keeps everything. So the second I post it, it's like memorized in there, you know? So yeah, that happened. And keep in mind that before that even happened, before I even actually kicked him out completely, we had a conversation where he was like, you deserve better, this and that, I've done so many things, and he made me a list of things that he had done to me. Tell me why one involved my ex-best friend. Tell me why. A girl's gut says everything, okay? My gut, I swear to God, for years, my gut was telling me like something went on, but I don't have any proof, so it's like, I don't know, like, if I even have a right to be mad or question him, you know? But I did randomly question him and be like, are you sure? Like, I won't get mad, it's in the past, but I want to know the truth, you know? Man, I keep forgetting about stuff that I need to talk about. I have proof of that too, because for some reason he like screen recorded it and sent it to my sister-in-law. Another thing that happened, okay, so after that New Year's thing, a few days later, right, he was like, oh, I'll make it up and stuff, and for him to stop touching my freaking legs and wrapping himself around my feet, I told him, okay, I'll give you another chance, but we're not going to be together. You need to prove yourself first, right? I have this conversation with my best friend at the time, and this is the good best friend, okay? So I tell her like, ooh, New Year's night, the deed was the deed, you know? And I was like, in comparison, you know, cannot relate, you know, like they're not relatable at all. But in order to make it sound like, I don't know why, but I knew he was gonna go through my phone, but I was like, I'm not gonna delete it. If he wants to look and snoop through my phone, so be it. But I put, so Jay's, you know, sex or whatever is like, all right, you know, it's good. But New Year's guy was good. He ended up getting pissed off, and then he posted it, he screenshotted it and posted it on his Instagram saying, how would you feel? How would you feel about what, honey? Like, pretty sure nobody's gone through that but you. And you went through it for a reason. Oh, you know what? After all of that, I still let him in the house. I still let him in the house. Can you believe that shit? Like, the amount of chances, even after not being together, the amount of patience I had for that kid, I don't even know myself. Okay, I don't even know myself. Honestly, I deadass should have, like, swung on that dude a long time ago. I deadass should have. I was just, like, so mind-fucked over everything that was going on that, it was just too much for me. It was overwhelming. Definitely hope that no one has gone through something so similar, but a lot of people have, unfortunately. And I feel so bad because I was just so close to just giving up, and it was really hard for me to get back on my feet. But I feel like getting back out there, you know, and stuff like that really helped. I didn't expect to be in a relationship that soon after being so traumatized, but I was. And honestly, the way I thought about it is like, if I don't get with him now, I don't know if I'd be able to later on. So I was like, I'm happy, why not just go for it, you know? So that's basically how me and Joseph started dating, and we're not a perfect couple, but, you know, way better than my last, for sure. So I'm gonna end it here. A lot more stuff happens. I'm not sure if I should put in the story time of me going to court because of my landlord, or what I recently just found out, basically. But, okay, Giovanni Mendoza is still wanted, okay? I think his name is Giovanni Mendoza Corona. Not me blocking him from my head as much as I could and actually forgetting his name. He is still wanted. He basically skipped out on jail and fled the States. I'm pretty sure he's in TJ because he doesn't know anyone else. He doesn't know anyone anywhere else other than Ohio, but Ohio is still in the States, you know, so I'm pretty sure he wouldn't go there. But other than that, it's the only other place that he would run off to, but he definitely wouldn't go there because it's in the States, you know. Unless he's stupid enough to, but I highly doubt it. I'm pretty sure he's in TJ because all of his family are in TJ. So yeah, I'm gonna insert his photo here. So honestly, I don't have many photos of him. I did a very good job of getting rid of all of them. So I had to get some from like old Snapchat and Google. First one is Google. That's him when he was younger, and that's basically what he would look if he was chubby. The second one, he's bald practically. Third one, that's what he would look if he was skinny. And the last one, I just wanted to post that because he looks fucking stupid. So if you guys have seen him, if you guys know him, if you guys have talked to him, let the police know because he definitely deserves to go to jail for a very long time. He's just not a safe person to be around. He'll definitely break your mental health and physical health, and he might do things that are disgusting. Please look out, okay? He's not a good person, and I doubt that he'll ever be because from what I'm hearing now, he's still purchasing hookers and he's still living his best life. So, yeah. Also, he's been stalking my family, my grandma and my mom, and basically getting like different sorts of like Facebook pages and whatever to contact them. And I don't know if he's stupid enough to not know that they won't tell me, but obviously they will. It's definitely in TJ, and that's how I know, because my mom has seen him personally in TJ. And I hope you guys enjoyed the story time. I know it's like a little too much more than a story time, you know, because a lot of crazy stuff, you know, but definitely look out for people like this, you know, because like I said, he was this sweet kid in the beginning. He was quiet, he was gentle, he was just, you know, kind. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope it was entertaining. It was definitely traumatic for me at the time, but now it's really just a story, you know. It's just something I went through, and I'm past it as much as I can be. Sometimes it still gets me, you know, but don't let it take over your life, because that's where all things go down. I really appreciate you guys watching, and I hope you guys enjoy the story time. Don't forget to turn on your notifications, like this if you want more story times, and comment down below what story time I should put first, the chisme that I recently found out, or the landlord take me to court story time, okay? Because I feel like doing the landlord one first, just to fill in some blank spaces about what I was going through at the time that, you know, Jay's family was threatening me, and, you know, Jay was doing all this crazy stuff, you know. It's nothing like entertaining you guys with my trauma. Thank you so much for watching. Like I said, like and subscribe if you want more. Bye.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side.